Hey, hello everybody. Again, Mr. Reeves back with you. And today we're going to be talking about rational numbers. And specifically in this video, we're going to be looking at converting the fraction form of a rational number into the decimal form of a rational number. All right, so quickly though, let's talk about what a rational number is. A rational number, as it says here, is a number that can be written as a ratio of two integers, a and b, where b is not 0. All right? Sometimes we get a little sloppy and we just say if you can write it as a fraction, it is rational. But really, we should be a little more careful in saying that the numerator, which is the number on top, and the denominator both must be integers, which mean either whole numbers or their opposites. And of course, that bottom number cannot be 0. All right? So every number that is a fraction with an integer and an integer in the numerator and the denominator is rational, and every single one of those fractions can be converted to a decimal. And those decimals will either terminate or they will go on forever. And if they go on forever, they will either repeat or not repeat a pattern. So terminate means to end. All right, and non-terminating means not ending. And a repeating decimal doesn't mean that you repeat one digit, because we only have 10 digits, right? We only have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if you have a decimal that is non-terminating, it has to repeat a digit, right? However, a repeating decimal is a decimal that repeats a pattern. All right, so that's our vocabulary. Rational numbers, okay, terminating decimals, non-terminating decimals, and repeating decimals. All right, so one of the things that you are going to really want to have for this lesson is a calculator, okay? So if you don't have a calculator, of course, you can use your phone, or you can use an online calculator. There are many calculator apps available for you to choose from. Okay, so they have here a table of fractions: 1/4, 5/8, 2/3, 2/9, and 12/5, and then down here they have a couple decimals. And it says use a calculator to find the equivalent decimal. Well, how do you do that? Well, real quick, before we actually use our calculator, let's talk about some fraction and decimal equivalents we should know. All right, so for example, you really should know that 1/2 is equal to 0.5, right? That's just one you should have memorized. You should know that 1/4 is equal to 0.25. All right, you should know that 3/4 is equal to 0.75. 1/3 is another common one that comes up a lot. That is an example of a repeating decimal. It's 0.33333 or 0.3 repeating. 2/3 is also a repeating decimal, 0.6666666, and so on. All right, so these are some basic ones you should know. It's good if you can know eighths. All right, so 1/4 is 0.25. 1/8 is 0.125. So knowing all the different eighths. And of course, tenths, because that's what really decimals are, right? They are powers of 10, right? So 1/10 as a decimal would be 0.1. That's the tenths place, right? 1/100th would be 0.01. 1/1000th would be 0.001, and so on. Okay, so decimals really are just powers of 10. This is 5/10, right? 1/2 is equal to 5 out of 10. That's where we get the 5/10, right? 1/4 is equal to 25 over 100. So that's where that one comes from. 3/4 is equal to 75 over 100. So really what we're doing is we're taking these fractions and we are finding a denominator that is a power of 10. Now it gets a little trickier when you have numbers like 3 or 6, that don't go evenly into 100. That's where we start to see some funny things happening. All right, but how can we very quickly and very easily get from a fraction to a decimal? Well, this line right here, do you know what that means? It means to divide. So we could do 1 divided by 2. If I go to my handy dandy calculator now, if I go 1 divided by 2, what do I get? I get 0.5. If I do 3 divided by 4, I get 0.75. If I do 1 divided by 3, here's my fraction of 1/3. What do I get? 0.33333333 repeating, right? Yeah, and if I do, say, 1 divided by 100, there it is, okay? 0.01. So when you have a decimal number, you have a number in front of the decimal. Many times that will be 0, and then you have digits after the decimal, again, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, and so on. Okay, so of course you could do this division without a calculator, and in past years you might have been required to do that, but they're letting us use calculators now. So again, that's why I encourage you to make sure you have a calculator available for what we're doing. All right, so we already did 1/4. So 1/4 is 0.25. It's like 1/4, 25 cents, right? Or 25%. All right, let's do 5 divided by 8. 5 divided by 8 is 0.625. All right, so let's go back to right here, and 5 divided by 8 was 0.625. 2/3 we already said was 0.6 repeating. Now just so you know, in your calculator does not have a screen that goes on forever, does it? So if you have this in your calculator, it goes 0.6666666, and then it rounds up that last number, okay? So it's good to know the common repeating ones, all right? Just so you know, denominators under 10 that repeat. Denominators under 10 that create repeating decimals. Those denominators are 3. If you have 3 in the denominator, it's going to create a repeating decimal. 6. If you have 6 in the denominator, it's going to create a repeating decimal. 7. If you have 7 in the denominator, it's going to repeat, and 9. Okay, there are many, many more denominators that cause repeating fractions, but these are the ones that are under 10. All right, so if I take a look here, I know right off the bat that that one's going to repeat, and I know that that one's going to repeat. So it's just good to look for those, but on your calculator, look for a string of numbers that are the same, and then that last one rounded up. All right, so I think we are on 2 divided by 9, which we know is going to repeat. 2 divided by 9, and it's kind of cool. 2 divided by 9 is 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. All right, so let's go back to where we were right here. So 2 divided by 9 is 0.2 repeating. In fact, anything over 9 is going to be that number repeating, right? So if I had 4 over 9, that's going to be 0.4 repeating. If I have 7 over 9, that's going to be 0.7 repeating, and so on. All right. Now, this one right here, you'll notice, is the first one where the numerator is larger than the denominator. So if I go back to my calculator and I go 12 divided by 5, all right, for the first time now, we have a number in front of the decimal that is not a 0, and we get 2.4. All right, 2.4. Okay, now this one right here, I have 0.2. Now remember, that would be 2 over 10, right? And this one right here would be 875 over 3 places is 1,000. All right, now they probably want us to simplify those, although I certainly could write 2 over 10. In fact, I'm going to write 2 over 10, but I'm going to simplify that down. What number do we know that goes into 2 and 10? What is the common factor? Well, the common factor is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So in fact, if we go back to our calculator, if we go 2 divided by 10, we get 0.2. And if we go 1 divided by 5, we also get 0.2. All right, if I do 800, let me clear this out. There's so much in there. Clear, clear, clear. All right, if I do 875 divided by 1,000, I do get 0.875. So let me go back here. So I could write 875 over 1,000, and that's not incorrect as long as they just say write a fraction. All right, but we could try to simplify that. What number do we know that goes into 875 and 1,000? All right, well, if you think money like dollars, $8.75 and $10, you can have those in quarters, right? So if I do 875 divided by 12, what do I get? All right. Oh, it doesn't go in evenly. Does that not reduce? Wow, 875. I thought, wait, 875 divided by 25. That has to go in evenly. Oh, 35. I don't know what I was thinking. All right. And then I must have typed it in wrong. If I do 1,000 divided by 25, I get 35 over 40. But I know something that goes into both of those. 5 goes into both of those, right? So if I do 35 divided by 5, I get 7. So this actually simplifies all the way down to 7/8. Let's check that. 7 divided by 8. 7 divided by 8 is 0.875. All right, so if I go back to my table here, this simplifies down to 7 divided by 8. All right, we're going to be focusing on in this section, this part right here, changing fractions to decimals. All right, later on we'll be doing a video that focuses on changing decimals to fractions. All right, so let's do a few more examples, and then we're going to call it a day on this video. All right, write each rational number as a decimal. By the way, rational numbers can be positive or they can be negative. So if I take a look at these examples, right here I see a 7. So what am I thinking? I'm thinking this is going to be a repeating decimal. I see a 3rd. I think this one is going to be a repeating decimal. This one is not going to be a repeating decimal. Right off the bat, I can put negatives there because I know they're going to be negative. All right, and now I'm simply going to go to my calculator, okay? So I'm going to go to my calculator, and I'm going to type in 4 divided by 7, and I know it's going to be a repeating decimal. All right, now it says write each rational number as a decimal. It didn't say how far to go. I know in your homework it's going to tell you how many digits that you need. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go, let's go 3 digits, 0.571. All right, because unfortunately, I can't write and have my calculator on the screen at the same time, and I'm not going to remember. All right, so I'm going to, oh, look at that. It's there. Never mind. It's approximately negative 0.5. Well, since it's there, I can write more digits, okay? 0.5714. All right, do you see this part right here? That part is the same as that part right there. So actually, I'm just going to go 0.571428, and I know it's going to repeat, so then I'm going to put that line over there like that. Okay, that's better. So we did get to the repeating part. I wasn't sure that we had. See, there's 571. There's 571. The next 2 digits would be 428. All right, we already said what 1/3 was. 1/3 is one of those ones you should have memorized as a decimal. 0.3 repeating. We also showed that in the calculator already. All right, so negative 9/20. Now again, this is one that maybe you should be able to do with a calculator, right? Because if I multiply both of these by 5, I will get negative 45 over 100. And remember, decimals are powers of 10, of which 100 is. So I know the answer is going to be 0.45, and it's negative. But if you didn't know that, all right, you can go ahead and just go to your calculator and go 9 divided by 20, and you will see 0.45. Okay? So I think that covers the lesson for what we need. All right, again, all right, be looking for those denominators. 99, by the way, any of these 9s, 9, 99, those are going to be repeating. All right, if it's a multiple of 5 or 10, you could put it over a power of 10. Remember, mixed numbers, by the way, a mixed number, real quick vocabulary. A mixed number, if you look at all of these, they have a whole number out front, and then they have a fraction afterwards. Okay? So when you are doing these, and we actually hadn't done one of these, I'm glad I saw this, okay? The beginning part is just the same. The whole number part of a mixed number and the whole number part of a decimal are the same. So you can start off just by doing this, okay? You can just put the whole number, and then you could just do this part in your calculator. So I know, 6 is going to repeat. So I'm going to go to my calculator, and I'm going to do, I closed my calculator. That was not smart. That's because I thought I was done, Mr. Reeves. So I'm waiting for my calculator here, and I'm going to do 1 divided by 6. 1 divided by 6, I know it's going to repeat because it's one of those ones Mr. Reeves said is going to repeat. So 0.16 repeating, right? But we had that negative 11 already. Whoops, here we go. So it was 0 just on the 1 6, and then it's a 1, and then just the 6 part repeats. Be careful, okay? Just the 6 part repeats. All right, let's do one more. How about this one? 7 and 3/15. Let me go back to my calculator and do 3 divided by 15. And I get 0.2 because, of course, that simplifies, doesn't it? 3/15 simplifies to 1/5. All right, and I get the 0.2. Again, in my calculator, this part was 0.2 and this was 7, right? In my calculator, this part was 0.16 repeating, and that part was 11. So when you're changing a mixed number to a decimal, just keep the whole number part the same, and then do this part right here. 9/10 is going to be 2.9. We know that one, right? 23 over 100, that's just 23. So some of these you really should be able to do without a calculator, but a calculator will always work. All right. Well, I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a great day. See you next time.